Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining me once again for Get Your Money Right with Yvonne. I am Yvonne. How's it going? And if you're looking for the spot where we talk about retirement savings, you are indeed in the correct place. So we will start this as we always do by me asking you, how are you doing? How are you faring? How is it going? So it can be challenging, and we all have struggles, but I just want to honor you and whatever you might be dealing with. And just, I don't know how you feel, but when somebody asks me how I'm doing, it just makes me feel good. And I just want to do that for you, okay? And this is a very supportive community. If you have any questions, you need help with something, we want you to reach out. And if you want to become a part of this community, don't worry about it now. Just enjoy this episode, see what you think, and kind of go from there, okay? So, how's it going for me? Pretty well. So, I'm recording this on a Friday. So, earlier in the week, I went and visited my family. I'm from the West Coast. And it was just so much fun. We're all accused of cackling when we get together. It's a lot of fun. We enjoy one another's company. And the other thing is, I wanted to make sure that I connected with a childhood, let's see, how does this go? One of my childhood friends, her mother. And, everybody's getting older, and you just want to make sure to stay in touch with people because honestly, the greatest gift we can give sometimes is the gift of time, our time to people. So I wanted to make sure I got a chance to see her. It was lovely. When I spent about 4 hours over at her house, and it was just wonderful. It was wonderful to connect. So, I things are going well with me. So, that I guess that's all I have to say about that. And I've spent some time, as I tend to do, reading articles about money, just kind of a finger on the pulse of what people are thinking these days. And people are always asking, how much do I need in retirement? Or they'll give an amount and say, is this enough? And just keep in mind, those numbers are going to be different for all of us, okay? Say somebody says, I have $1 million. Is this enough for retirement? I don't know. What are your expenses? That's the first thing to think about. And we talked earlier on one of these where the prevailing wisdom is taking between 4 and 5% out of your retirement account. Okay. And so, what's your balance? And 4 to 5% of that, how much would you get? And so, there's that to be concerned about. And also, and here's the really big one that people forget about. Okay, what are your current expenses? That you have to factor in all of these to determine if you will have enough for retirement. Okay? And well, keep in mind, you guys know this. I am not a CPA. I am not a money person. What I have learned over the decades came from the School of Hard Knocks. I made some big mistakes early on selling stocks at a loss. I didn't know, thinking that I was preserving my capital and, kind of messed that up. So just sharing what I've done with you, and hopefully you won't repeat those same mistakes. So, one of the first things you're going to want to do is figure out how much do you spend each month, okay? And then it's going to depend on really how long you have before retirement. And so, what I kind of worked out for me is this, okay? So, you're going to need at least what you are spending a month in retirement, okay? If you're going to retire within the next 10 years, I figure that you take the figure, let's just say it's $3,000 a month that you spend on whatever, your savings, you're paying off your bills, all of that, $3,000 a month. Okay. And if you're going to retire within the next 10 years, you're going to need another 50% of that. So 3,000 plus 1,500, now you're looking at $4,500 a month you will probably need in retirement to take care of yourself in the manner in which you've become accustomed. Okay, so if you're going to retire within 10 years, another 50%. Okay, if you're going to retire within 15 years, 60%. Okay, 20 years, 70%. Okay, if you're going to retire within 25 years, 80%. At 30 years, if you've got 30 years until, 90%. And if you're retiring 35 years and up, you're going to want to double it. Okay? And see what you think about that. And I have done this for myself, knowing when I'm going to retire and thinking, okay, this should be fine. You know, I will be bringing or want to make sure that I have available more than I need now, because what do expenses tend to do? They go up, right? You want to be cognizant of that and make sure you have covered your expenses, and just knowing those are going to go up. Now, when we started this, I said, what are your expenses? Now, say you have a shortfall at the end of most months. You're going to need to figure that in. Don't cheat yourself and think, oh, this will be enough. No, if you are not covering your current bills, add that on to it. Okay? You really have to be careful, because remember, in retirement, this is it. Okay? This is what you have. We are all fixed income. Just look at it that way. And in retirement, you're really fixed income, right? So make sure to look at all of that and make sure you have taken care of everything to be able to meet your needs, right? And, you know, to those people asking how much, go through this exercise, right? And just make sure, look out for yourselves. And again, don't forget, you want to do this looking at it. You need this money until you're 100 years old. Did you suck wind? You know, our life expectancies are getting longer, and we just want to make sure we have enough until we're at least 100. And for some people who are retiring early, hey, that great, that good for you, but you still need to make sure you have enough money until you hit 100 years old. So you simply have to figure this out. Most of us, I'm guessing, are middle income people. Either we make less than $100,000 a year, or maybe just a little over. You know, whatever you're making, it really doesn't matter. We can all have a good retirement. We just have to plan for it, right? We have to do all that we can to make sure all of our bases are covered. And you're going to want to pay attention to different things. You may need to make adjustments. You know, anything is possible. I have looked at mine from every which angle I can possibly think of. And I'm looking at the elders in my family and looking how it was for them. And I know many of them had shortfalls. I know this. And we all have to account for them. Look at the past to kind of figure out the present and the future, right? So just take care of yourselves. And again, you know, we've talked about this before. How much should you be saving for your retirement? And, you know, that's up to you. You need, at the very least, start with 5%. 5% of your pre-tax income. Just that is a place to start. Now, most places will say you need to be saving 15%, but work your way up to it. Okay, start at 5%, and then maybe each either promotion or salary increase at 1%, or whatever you've gone up in salary, up your savings account too. Just make sure to take care of all of that, because, you know, we've talked about this. If we don't take care of ourselves, who's going to? We can't look for our government to take care of us. And you just really have to pay attention to do this because, I was one of the fortunate few who has a pension from a previous employer. That same employer does not offer them. When I got started there, it was a few years after that they stopped. So those of us who did have that pension, we still have it, of course. And those who are hired after me, they don't. So again, we have to take care of ourselves. And to say things like you'll work till you drop, what if you can't? I have friends who could not make it to 65 or working until they were 65 or 67 or 70. They could not do it and had to retire early. And it really it hits the bottom line when you haven't planned for it, you didn't save for it, and now it's a challenge to meet your basic needs when you didn't save enough money. And I was reading some comments. Somebody was talking about not being able to save, and someone made a really mean comment. Anymore, we're just not as nice to each other as we used to be. It's just, somebody said something along the lines of, well, I hope you enjoy being poor in retirement. I'm like, why would you say something that horrible? Lift each other up. Don't break each other down. We're all just trying to get through each and every day the best we can. And let's say something nice to people. It doesn't take much, and people are so very grateful when you're spreading kindness. Just something to think about, just throwing it out there. I see people and I want to smile and just ask how they're doing. I was at the airport on my way back home, and it was so funny. I heard this voice and I was like, whoop. And when he wasn't with somebody anymore, I said, I love your voice. And just to watch that big smile go across his face, it's challenging sometimes to go to work every day. And just to have somebody say something nice to you, I could tell he appreciated it. And we all do. So let's just try to be nicer to one another, please. Just a thought. So anyway, earlier I said, if you like these and you think you'd like to become a part of the community, we would love to have you. I get a lot of my material, even doing these, by some of the comments you all make. So please, if you'd like to join us where it says subscribe, do so. Now, just need you to know, this is free, okay? I will never charge you for this content because it's just about sharing. I just wish somebody had done something similar for me years ago. It would have been so nice, because so many of the things that I read, money managers, good information, sometimes I can't take advantage of it because it just doesn't seem to be speaking to me, a middle income person. It seems to be looking more at those making $150,000 and up, and things that they can do, I can't. And I'm guessing a lot of you can't either. So this is just us taking care of us. Be the change you're looking for. So just, if you'd like to become a part, please, we would just love to have you. Okay? And with that, because I like to keep these around the 15-minute mark, with that, I thank you so much for tuning in to these shows. I enjoy doing them. I sure hope you are getting what you need from them. And let me know. Give me a thumbs up, a note, something to let me know that this is reaching you and you are happy with it. We just love to hear from you. Okay? And with that, we are going to wind this up. Thank you for joining me once again for Get Your Money Right with Yvonne. I'm Yvonne, okay? And until next time, be good to yourselves, be good to each other, okay? You take care. Bye-bye.